You know, you read about law enforcement, and law enforcement changed and ain't changed. Like out west, they used to have the town marshal and then the sheriff.
Yes.
You couldn't, you know.
Yes.
Do y'all, and I know your time is tight. Do y'all have issues with other police departments and say that you know you encroaching on my in my area, you chasing people across? You go back and do what you do and man the jail.
Good question. But we're not just the jail. We're not just the court and courts. We are community policing, and that's still what we do. Even though we don't do 911 calls necessarily, Hines Park encompasses 5 different cities in Wayne County. We're out there patrolling that side of Hines Park every day because again, we're strong together. They can't. These agencies, these smaller cities, they don't have the manpower to do everything they want to do. So we're out there doing the work. And so do they ask us to get out of their way and don't come to their city? They invite us to their city to help them police and the things that they want to see. We'll be in Dearborn Heights. Fireworks coming up. We'll be in probably 5 different cities helping them with their fireworks.
That's you said fireworks. Dearborn Heights.
I mean, not them.
Had some fireworks.
I was saying Dearborn Heights have asked us to come to their festival. I didn't finish that. To come to their festival and help them with their festival. I mean, whether it's Kensington Park, whether it's downriver cities, they really can't get it done like they would want to with the manpower that they have. So they asked us to come and help them.
Are you guys on the same radio frequency?
Sure.
Like when you're over there?
We can be.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can definitely tap into each other's radio.
Okay, as we wrap this up, since you became sheriff, what's some of your good accomplishments, great accomplishments?
Sure. So what the community tells me is that they love the fact that I'm out there in the community with my officers, with my deputies, serving them. They love the fact that it's when I talk to 200 of them, I just give my phone number out to 200 people. They said you are so accessible to the public that it's incredible. They're not necessarily used to that. I say, I don't know how you become a public servant, become the sheriff and all of them, and not be accessible to the public. That doesn't make sense to me. Drives my staff crazy. You can't give your phone number out to 200 people. I say, yes, I can. Because if I saw them individually, I'll give it to them. Secondly, they don't call me. They want to be able to say, the sheriff was at a community event and gave us all his phone number. They just want to say that because they love the fact that this sheriff is accessible to them, and I always will. So I love the fact that they appreciate that. I mean, when I get elected, I've been elected twice. My last election, 24, I mean, it was 551,839 people said that's our sheriff. That's our sheriff. You don't get those numbers when you're absent from the community, when you're not embracing them and letting them know that they're here for you. You get numbers because you're out there doing the work, and I've been doing the work every day of my life, for 42 years. I've been serving the public.
So you don't have no absentee problem?
Absentee for
coming to work.
Oh no! I mean, people people they have FMLAs and things that they do that I don't talk about, but I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I've never had to be on FMLA, and take off and not be able. I don't.
You ain't called in to no important meetings and say you was out of town.
Never
you
ever.
At the hospital,
Never
and you
ever.
was at home watching
Never
One
ever.
Life to Live.
I want to be at work. Seriously, I have not worked a day in my policing life because it's not work for me. It's service, and I've been about service since I was a teenager. So this is how we look. They used to have to make us as young people in the police department take vacations. You have to take a vacation. No, I don't want to take a vacation. Then we have to take a vacation. We calling our partners. What y'all do tonight? Did y'all chase someone? Did someone shoot at you? Did something? They just want to be out here serving the people. And that's all.
Is your image in the community, do you see it as any different than the Detroit police?
Yes.
When people see the sheriff, they see you, they see a distinction there?
Yeah, well, they see a difference, and that is not that one is better than the other. They just love the fact that it's not just the Detroit Police Department, it's not just Hamtramck, it's not just Trenton, it's not just the various cities that we help with. It's just us together, and they love to see policing working together, you know, and they tell us that. So we take our apparatus out to these cities.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment, because I know you got to go. The first time I met you in person, I don't know if you remember, it was a couple of years ago, in Houston. We were
At the
I don't know if you could, right.
Yes.
And so we met, and you said, oh, I can tell you didn't vote for me. I said, you're absolutely correct.
That's
I
right.
did not.
That's right.
But
But
since
you
then,
couldn't wait till the next election. You were the first one at the poll.
the point that I'm trying to make is that I saw him out working in the community. He was in
like
Houston,
anybody.
and-
You didn't like me. You just a
With good
mean,
reason.
you just a mean
You better not use that
woman.
word. Okay, I thought you was gonna use that other
Yeah,
word.
go ahead. I want to hear that. So
But
what now?
what is said to me is that, oh, okay, he's actually out here doing work. You're at a conference
Yes.
for kids
Yes.
that use substances, be it drugs, be it
Especially
alcohol,
for
but
a
especially for
Yeah.
a conference.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then thereafter, I kept seeing you out, and basically, you are.
I appreciate that. Coming from an attorney, I appreciate that.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
well, Sheriff Ray Washington,
Yes.
Raphael Washington.
Yes, sir.
You didn't change your name to Ted. You like that?
None of that. None of that. No.
Ted Cruz.
None of that.
He
None of
like
that.
Raphael.
That was his name?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He changed it legally.
Really?
He just wanted to fit in. You
Well,
know.
probably because you Raphael, when I had to say that in school as a second grader and things, the teachers couldn't even say Raphael. That name was unheard
Well,
of.
you know, I hated my name.
You know, I mean, I
I
hate
said
it.
when I got 18, I'm changing this shit.
But you did.
I learned how to embrace
There
it.
you go. There you go. There you go.
Particularly
shit.
going to a Jewish school.
Yeah.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out,
Right.
and that's when
Yeah, I was just
Raphael
gonna-
became very popular.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to thank Sheriff
Thank you.
Ray Washington.
Yes.
Kevin Talbot.
My
Good
man.
to see you, man.
Good to be
Oh,
here.
you also is the chair of what?
The 12th Congressional District
Yes.
Democrats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got that woman over there, man. I could slap the hell
At the
out
12th?
of her. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
The 12th is
His
my
congresswoman
Oh,
over there.
well.
His congresswoman over there. But that's another show.
You ought to invite her, and I'll come back. And
She
I'll,
said no, sir.
But he'll come back and speak as a 12th district.
As the 12th
chairperson, not sheriff's
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come
We
in here,
always make a
Congresswoman,
difference.
and speak.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, this is Adolph Monroe. I'm thanking the sheriff and his chief of staff. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come up. We got some Detroit candidates that we're gonna be interviewing.
All right.
Thank you.
I might stay around for that.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Adolph. I appreciate it. Alex, down the hall, I appreciate you.
Appreciate
My
having you.
friend.
Very
Yes, I
When you going out skating?
I just went a couple weeks ago.
Did you? Was you working?
Mr. Barlow.
When you come?
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah, doing good. You guys get on there, man.
How's it going? Good to see you, man.
Likewise, likewise.
Awesome. Good morning, sir. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Brother, you all right, man? God is good. Just another day. All the time.
All right, we are back. You guys want to have a seat here?
Oh, you got that one.
Come on. Mr. Barlow, the mayor candidate. Oh, there we are.
Here we are back on the air.
How you doing? You all right? God is good, man. Yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Man, coach, I know y'all know.
We've got two powerhouses here. We've
Come
got-
on.
Jonathan Barlow.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, good.
We've got Whitney Clark, who is
Good to see
running
you.
in the fifth. Is it the fifth?
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Fifth district.
Fifth
Now,
district.
are you on the ballot, or are you a write-in?
I am a write-in candidate for District 5 here in City
And
Council.
What happened? What?
You know, we're actually technically still in the process. I technically still have an appeal that I'm going through right now, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it, quite frankly. But you know, treading that line very carefully because we're hoping to get those ballots counted by the same individuals. So we don't want to be too harsh in our indictment. But I will say this: that we do believe that there is incompetence in the elections department, and we'll say that respectfully, and we'll allow the process to play itself out.
So there is a chance that you still may end up on the ballot.
Well,
is that-
I mean,
or not?
in certain elements of this race, it is having faith and pressing forward, and then there are other elements where it makes more sense to be a realist. And it seems with these type of processes, particularly looking at how President Trump dragged out his court cases, we know that we can get the verdict sometimes after the election if you're not
Right.
careful.
Right.
And I think that's
Right.
probably what the norm is here in the city. And so we're deciding to just run right in so that we don't have to wait. Elections are obviously about
Yeah.
timing.
Which
So
is
this,
obviously a bigger challenge. Then we've got also Jonathan Barlow, who is running for mayor of the city of Detroit.
Hello.
And so let's start with you first,
Please.
and then we'll get to Jonathan.
Certainly.
What's the issues here? What are you knocking doors?
Yeah,
and saying-
oh,
what,
yeah.
and what are people saying to
We're
you?
beating
Like,
doors daily.
What are they asking and saying? Hey, we this or that crime, or we're not getting services, or what's the issues that you keep hearing recurring? Issues?
Ultimately, all of the issues are interwoven. They're all one big issue.
What are some that
The
stand
one,
out?
but I hate when people say that and they don't give you a specific. But I said that to say the question for me becomes about which one you attack first and which problem do you solve that has the greatest impact, that can fix a number of different issues.
Which is?
Schools, housing, those are two of the issues that we have to address in a robust way. And then we also have to have this conversation about how are we bridging the gap, the generational gap that exists, the baby boomers. How do we ensure that our seniors can age with dignity? And how do we ensure that our children are competitive out of high school again? Those are the two challenges that we have to come together with. It handles crime, it handles affordability and rent, it handles a number of different things that we can revitalize the
Would you
neighborhoods.
want to see rent control?
I don't believe that that's the solution. I believe the solution for rent control is giving families an opportunity to own homes. That controls rent. When you give people an opportunity to buy a home, or start a home that isn't $500,000.
Well, what about the people who are rent? There are quite a few renters here.
The theory for me, and on city council, there's going to be a number of different perspectives. My perspective is that you do the most good by putting people back on the pathway to home ownership. If you have more homeowners here in the city, then in theory, you reduce the need
The
for
demand
rent.
for
That's the theory. And so, and again, we're trying to go to the root of the issue. See, because we can address rent controls, and that won't address the housing issue. But if we address the housing issue, then it, in time, in theory, will help the rent controls as well.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Whitney.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I want to introduce Jonathan Barlow. And the same question that Alan asked Whitney, I'm going to ask you. So, what are the most pressing issues that you see? And what is your platform running as mayor for the city of Detroit?
Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Vanessa. Jim. Always good to see you. And of course, Brother Whitney.
Good to see you again, man.
It's good to be with you this morning.
Absolutely.
You have issues that are facing the voters, and you have issues that the city is facing. And those are two different things. What people experience every day and what goes on in the boardroom and those the decisions that are made day to day down at the Coleman Young Municipal Center. It's almost like night and day.
Well, tell us what are the
Oh, let him
citizens?
finish answering the
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
I'm just
You
trying to
cut
get
him
to the
off.
point.
You cut him off. You
No.
do that a lot.
No.
You do that a lot. Let him finish.
Trying to get to the point.
It is night and day. The most pressing issues that I believe the city is facing is a core leadership issue. The village is not together when it comes to reaching any goal. That's the number one issue.
Right.
We can talk about drainage fees, we can talk about property taxes, we can talk about education, and we can talk about housing. We can even talk about public safety and jobs. But if leadership is not at the table when any problem arises and everyone's not being acknowledged, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. But the most pressing issue is filling the gaps on this budget. we're going to lose a grave amount of resources in this upcoming year while we're trying to keep ARPA dollars compliant. A CEO, the reason why I'm running is because a CEO needs to be able to come in, understand all of its resources and assets, along with being able to deploy and distribute anything that's necessary to start to prioritize everything that's on the plate. And the reason why I say it in that general sense is, when I changed legislation back in 2017, I came into a problem in which the city did not even assess or do any analysis on how legacy Detroiters have prime real estate in the city. That's a misstep on the city's part not only protecting its Detroiters, but also creating generational wealth and circulating wealth here. We're continuing to lose money and create $1 million departments, but getting $1,000 results. That's why I'm running for mayor of the city of Detroit.
Can I jump in really quickly
go
here?
ahead.
Because,
Jump in.
this is the beautiful yin and yang to the mayoral race and the city council race. They almost get the benefit of talking about philosophy and the vision, and that's fine. We get to talk about the details. How do you bring the mayor's vision to fruition? We do that with deregulation. We're going to do that. What you got there, Ms. Vanessa? I know she's reading the comments.
And when
there.
you say deregulation,
Well, there are a couple of areas that we can target specifically, and we're going to beat this drum. It's going to be housing. We're going to have different forms of housing here in the city. We got shipping containers, we got cement homes. It's time for us to make a bet on these homes. We need to also systematically reduce the amount of corporate ownership in single family homes. You've got realty, you've got people in different parts of the world who own a portion of a home. That means that they don't have to foot the bill when it comes to maintenance. We have to use the regulatory state that we do have to drive those individuals systematically out of the city. We also can talk in a more robust way, bridging the gap with education. We've got to bring the trades back, and we've got to make sure that we are refurbishing the tax base, because the challenges that we face, they come from a number of different ways, and one of the ways that it's been exacerbated is the generational divide. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to ask you this, because you hit on the point about the tax base. Listen, the tax base has, quite frankly, been eroded.
Yes.
Okay, and when you don't have housing, when you don't have people home ownership, listen, that's the majority of your tax base.
Certainly.
Jonathan, what do you say about that? Because one of the things that I hear some of the candidates talking about is housing and the lack thereof. What we do have in the city of Detroit is a whole lot of land.
Yes.
We've had a lot of homes demolished. We have a lot of vacant lots. We have blocks, right? Would you agree, Alan, where it's only 1 or 2 houses sitting on the block?
Everywhere.
What would be your plan for? I'm talking to Jonathan
Please.
now. Jonathan, what would be your plan, or what is your vision in terms of housing? Not only making it affordable, making it available, because there's a lack of housing. Okay, because we have a lot of lots.
Yeah.
So what's your vision?
I think Brother Whitney hit on this a little bit earlier. My vision, based off of my platform and every flyer that's gone out there, is for every family to have a home. Now, we have to be very careful about not confusing a home with a house. Everybody needs a home. Everybody can't necessarily take care of a house.
Right.
Two different things. And so I'm totally optimistic about 2 specific things. One, being able to bring Detroit workers, employees. The city of Detroit is one of the biggest employers that the city has. Being able to bring those employees, police, firefighters, but also including in that teachers and other service workers that we have, whether it's in our hospitals or otherwise. I think everybody who can have a stake in Detroit deserves to be incentivized for being here. Now, secondly, with affordable housing, we can't put new families in homes without dealing with the fact that legacy Detroiters are being pushed out of their homes. First of all, we got to deal with the $600 million that was overtaxed and get that back to the city, to make sure that they get what they've already paid for unnecessarily. That's one of the first things. Second thing is we have almost $800 million in rate increases being proposed by DTE. We have to, if you can't stay in your home with your taxes or with your utility bills or with your water bill, your drainage fee going up.
And is that through the state that we control the DTE?
And
Isn't
that-
it has to be approved by the state commission?
Alan, you are 1,000% correct. And part of
We surrendered our public lighting to these assholes, and they make all this money.
I was expecting,
you know.
yeah, I was expecting that because that's again part of why Detroit needs to take ownership over Detroit.
Okay. I have a question here. I want.
Yeah.
What are the big things I hear and living in the city of Detroit? People say, I can't get gasoline at night. I'm afraid to fill up. I go to the suburbs to fill up my gasoline. We also see, I know there's been some tension sometimes in the community between store owners, like gas station owners and stuff like that.
Certainly.
But they've also complained about, drug dealers standing outside, sort of taking over their shops and stuff like that. How do we make it a more friendly place for people to do business in the city? And how do we make it safer for people to get gasoline in the city?
So, great questions, and that is why we have to keep beating this drum to get people to see. And it's important that you have young leaders who know how to connect the dots in an articulate way to compel voters and constituents and stakeholders to move in a different direction. You clean that up, that issue, by having people in those neighborhoods who have a sense of pride in the places that they stay. How do you do that? By housing. So let me just kind of kill two birds with one stone, because that's kind of the core theme of what we're trying to do here at City Council. When we talk about affordable housing, when you get into the weeds, you know that we're having a conversation about materials. We can get 3-bedroom homes built here in the city for $80,000. We can do it if we remove the regulatory state.
Okay, but
Yes, sir.
let me interrupt you by
Please.
saying, it's a long-term, it sounds like long-term housing and stuff like that builds up the neighborhoods and stuff. What do we do in the short term where I got to wait 5 years before I decide where I can finally go to a gas station on Woodward and Claremont or whatever?
And I think it's important that we put this out here. It's like, how long did it take us to get here?
But there's a long term and there's a short term.
Well, and we do have a short term. We do have a short term solution. I think that just comes from putting your boots on the ground and getting invested in the community. But and I'll turn it over here to Barlow. But I want to say that housing and schools and creating pride and giving ownership in the communities that people live in is one of the core tenets when we begin to talk about, because we understand that the best policing is what? Neighborhood policing. People that neighbors understanding it. So we have to do the structural work that builds pride in our neighborhoods again, and it's not a short path. And so we do have to work on both ends. But we're thinking more of the long game.
Brother Allen, did you just? I want to make sure I connected the 2 points. You said about policing or public safety around gas stations and loitering in the neighborhood.
Well, I think that's an issue, and I
But
think
it's a symptom. It's not an issue. It's a symptom.
Well, it's both. It's like, well, in the meantime, are you going to go to certain neighborhoods and fill up and say it's 10 o'clock, you're coming home from a party or something? You go, oh, we need gas, I'm going to pull in here. You're going to go, man.
But I think that we waste a good amount of our efforts and resources, brother, whenever we're focusing on that. That is a symptom of a community. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me be clear. Anytime you see loitering outside a gas station, it's normally because of a lack of workforce development.
It's the conditions of the community, brother.
It's a lack of jobs.
They don't loiter and loiter.
They're not there for their health. They're there either looking for a day job, or they're looking to hopefully get charity or something of that nature.
Or an opportunity.
Or an opportunity, or they're making it, or they're making their opportunity. But to your point about public safety across the board, along with how we're just approaching creating the right type of environment for business to thrive, for residents to thrive, the whole nine. If we're not creating new family spaces,
that's it, man.
And if we're not designing our communities in order for information to flow very fluidly, it takes a leader in the office to create these short-term plans for. We're in a crisis. Let's be real about it. We're in a crisis. We're not acting like it because we're numb to it.
Yeah.
But we're in a crisis and we're not responding as such. If the sky was falling, everybody would be coming together trying to figure out what's going on.
It is falling.
But we're not doing that. And so the only thing I can suggest to that, Alan, is between the arguments that I'm having over at Pingree Park between community and PAL teams, between there was another incident on the community over at Jameson. They're trying to get things together. Our community organizations are in disarray, and when we tout, we have 600 community block clubs, and they're all producing 10% of their potential. That's one of the issues right there, and of course systemic issues, back to your initial question. So again, it comes down to the village approach, having a leader in there who's brought leaders together, and that can go
You know, but you know who utilized the block clubs, and it ain't been done since, when they was burning the city down doing Devil's Night and all this other stuff, and the schoolgirl rapes back in the 80s and the 90s. Coleman Young knew how to organize these block clubs. And unfortunately, when Dennis Archer came aboard, he like, fuck Coleman Young, I don't need to do none of that shit, and it boomed. So listen, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. But as we wrapped it, we wrapped this show up, Mr. Barlow, you come from a family that's been fighters, that's been on the forefront. Your grandfather, he was a bad dude. You know, nobody messed with him, and I like your enthusiasm. You know, you smart, etc. You know, we need you, Mr. Clark. Same way here. Young folks, this y'all city.
It is.
10 years from now, 15 years from now, I won't be here. You know, you're gonna be here, or somebody else, your contemporary is gonna be here. Either you're gonna take control of this, or you're not.
And I gotta drive this point home. That what he's saying is the point. We're going to be here in the long term, so we have the luxury and responsibility to think in long term.
Right.
And so we've got to think.
Why, as I end this, why you didn't make the ballot? Why should I write you in?
Well, because Coleman Young wasn't Coleman Young when he was Coleman Young. He was Coleman Young when we had time to assess his willingness to draw a line in the sand. And what I'm saying with respect to his great legacy is that it is time for us to have young leadership who will draw a line in the sand and who will bet on our people in a way that compels us to ignite our imagination and build our own homes, build our own grocery stores, and rebuild community.
And the next time you run and want to put your name on the ballot, call me, please.
Yeah, certainly.
So
certainly.
I can work with you,
Please.
Mr. Barlow. Why should the folks check your name in the August primary and not these other so-called contenders and the leaders of the pack? Because I'm looking at this race and saying, it's anybody's game.
Yep.
It is.
You know, anybody. It can come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'll let you talk. Back in 1960, there was a guy, 30 years old, used to go down right there, P.J. Loggers, and the old Irish gang of political folks that ran Detroit. They liked him, you know. Name was Jerome Kavanaugh. And they said, you should run for mayor. Now, and Trench was a big city mayor, made backroom deals. And nobody was gonna beat him. He was kicking black folks' ass and doing all kind of stuff. He went home. His father, factory worker, he said, I think I'm running for mayor. Father thought he was joking. He said, no, why don't you run for city council? He said, no, I'm gonna run for mayor. They didn't even campaign against him. But he finished a distant second. And and everybody assumed he was gonna just get his butt kicked in the general. Yes, he mobilized the black community and the liberals and the moderates and stuff, and he pulled the biggest upset in Detroit history. Jerome Kavanaugh became, at that time, the youngest mayor. So I tell people, if Duggan can win on a fucking write-in saying that 80% of the people in Detroit is illiterate, somehow they found out how to spell his name and shit. I think that this race is, if somebody comes in the next 2 months, June 1st is tomorrow, you got 2 months to convince folks to vote for you. Here we are. Why should I vote for you?
First of all, just thank you all for having me today. I'm ready to turn that corner. I was being nice and very and playing the political platitude for the first part of this election.
Jump out there, bro.
But now I'm a total different character right now. What you see and what you hear in these forums and on this podcast is totally authentic. It's totally genuine. This is what you get here and every other day. And what Detroiters will understand over these next 60 days as they make their decision, and probably in the next 30%, is that when you get a leader like myself,
Absentees are out.
yeah, absentees are out.
Yeah.
When you get a leader like myself, not only do you position yourself for the future, but you actually bring in a leader that can acknowledge and see everyone that should and could be at the table. This is what told me that I was doing the right thing. 2 nights ago, when everybody was at Mackinac, I'm walking down. I'm 2 blocks away from Eastern Market, and it's about 2 or 3 homeless people in the bus stop because this weather is dropping in Detroit. I could have been in Mackinac and ran up there, but I saw that, and it told me that we got so much more work to do.
Yeah, fuck Mac.
And so I believe the people are going to make a historical decision. I believe they're going to change the course of history right now by electing someone like myself, which is on.
But you know, and we're gonna end it.
Yeah.
But you know, we got you. You got to get your message out. I'll go to you for one last, Alan.
I want to say one thing. Whitney, I hope you don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but we need people with vision, and you and both you guys present a vision, but there's also, and that's the long game, but there's the short game where we have to have a city that, Guy Gordon once said to me when I wrote about cars being stolen here in Corktown, and he said, Alan, do we have suburban expectations? And I said, we should be living the same safe life where I go to a restaurant, I come out and my car's there.
You should have been offended.
Yeah, and I said, we should have the same expectations. So when I'm saying filling up the gas station, going to a gas station, short term, I can't wait 3 years or 5 years.
And you can't count on the green light either.
Right.
It's not as though those
to
systems
your vision, but you dismiss that as
we have
saying,
systems to avoid that. It's a matter of the willpower and the people that you select.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We're
It's not that we don't have police
we're gonna have to
officers.
cut it short.
Yeah.
You know what I
have
mean?
to cut it
It's like
short.
it's about who you pick to do it.
yeah.
Whitney
No, I agree with you.
Clark. Whitney Clark. You know what? He got a lovely family.
Thank you so
I
much.
like when you bring your family
appreciate
in
it.
here.
I really do.
You start them at an early
Got
age.
to.
And
So
no
that my
question.
son can run having done nothing. That's what I want him to be able to do. Is run on my name like some of these candidates are doing now. Absolutely.
Okay, I
Shots
like that.
fired.
I like that.
Shots fired.
Somebody's got to do it.
Jonathan Barlow.
What do you have to say?
You have to tell people you're not John Barlow. I know a John
Well,
Barlow.
on the ballot, it's gonna be John Barlow. On the ballot, it's actually gonna be John John Barlow.
You know, I know a John Barlow.
Yeah, it's actually John Barlow.
You know what I think of him. Anyway.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be John Barlow on the ballot.
Vanessa Moss, thank
Yes.
you. Your final thought.
Listen, my final thoughts is I want to thank each and every guest that has been here today on Detroit Black and White, but I especially want to thank each and every person that is watching Detroit Black and White and making comments. I'm going to encourage you to continue to watch Detroit Black and White, hit that like button. But I'm also going to encourage our candidates to go back and watch the show and look at the comments so that you can answer some of those questions because we have such a short window of time.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you guys again. Whitney comes down regularly.
Yeah,
Jonathan,
good. I like
you're
that.
welcome anytime you want to come
We're
down.
gonna make this happen.
Okay?
And I want to shout out to Day here came down
Yes.
Yeah, shout
What's
out to
up,
the man.
Come on, Dave.
here. He beat us
Put a
up
face
at
with a
times.
name.
He
Put a
beat
face
us
with a
up
name.
at times. Alan Langle, your final thought.
No, I'm just, I appreciate the ideas. I mean, we have to, we have to make a city that is livable at every end of the city, not just downtown, not midtown.
Man.
That I can go to any part of the city and get gasoline or stop in a store or whatever, go shopping, and not have to look over my shoulder or go to the restaurant at night and the car should be there.
But Alan,
We
and I'm
have
gonna
to
say
do that
this:
in other places,
you
too.
can and listen. I can go into Southfield or West Bloomfield. There's
Absolutely,
a
I do the
mugger asshole waiting on me
No,
at a
but-
certain time. And I'm not talking about, but I understand what you're saying.
But the odds.
But the odds. But it's still the same. Crime is everywhere. You know what?
That's a young
Detroit
man's fight.
is the living room of the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
It's the first thing you see.
Let me say this, Adolph.
Go ahead.
We started a Safe Nights One Vibe campaign. If you go to One Vibe, the number one vibe.org, you will see that we just started that for that mere purpose. I had 3 young ladies ask me downtown last night, can I use my hotspot for a Uber? It's just we need to have a collective.
We
So
had a
onevibe.org,
candidate
I just
one
started
time
it because of this reason.
that ran for city council. His name was T. Farrell Muhammad.
Yep.
Oh,
And
yes,
he
my guy.
said,
Yeah.
and he said, we need to. There's only 2 states that got full service gas stations where you have to
Yeah.
have somebody. That's Oregon and New Jersey. He said we need to bring this to Detroit. And you know what? People was beating up on him. I said,
That's a good
I
idea.
love
That's
the
customer
idea.
service and that's the human interaction.
T.
You
Farrell
can't
Muhammad,
do technology.
he was ahead of
And,
the
and we
game.
can let the city employees do it because the city of government is the biggest employer in the city and they don't work effectively. If we get elected, you guys are going to go to work. Seriously.
Okay, we'll be
Yeah,
back on
yeah.
Wednesday. I would thank everybody. Ray Washington, Kevin Talbot,
Shout
Kenneth
out to
Powell,
Jim.
Miss Sheila, Karen Winston, G Money.
In plain sight.
Yes.
Cashmere.
Jim.
Okay.
We got-
And we'll be back on Wednesday.
Jim.
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 The police
Jim not
chief,
doing
Trenton.
it. The
Come on.
Popo.
I'm gonna get y'all some sound effects so y'all can have a Jim sound, a Vanessa sound.
Also, we want to thank.
That's it. Y'all come on, producer. That's hilarious.
Drop it down.
That was good. That was good.
Drop it down. So that-
So much.
to the last
The
frame.
thing of it is we gotta go to the root of it. No, I think he did. I need an article hell. But if he's got that type of pull, I need everybody to write an article.
That's all right. That is.
Well, that's what I need from Adolph. I need to write up. I gotta go read it here. Hey man, good to see you. That was good. I enjoyed that. Like I said, we gotta attack the real. I want to go to the root of it. It's schools and housing.
They need an economist
So he like,
Yeah.
bro, I need to start getting
to
paid.
cover all
More.
subjects.
Then I have a young lady who was helping out with human trafficking and other stuff. So
Oh.
I was like, listen, we need one.
I'ma send this to my
because
phone.
I'm
Wait, can I- how do I
just
share it?
like
There you
said
go.
in the podcast, We
How
gotta
did you
get
do that?
a comic goal so that we can start coming around with something.
I
so
called
that
your
we see
brother,
that
Adolf.
we can win. And
I called your brother.
I think it's safety.
But he ain't,
is that
I guess he had something
because
going on. He
that's
was too
probably
tied up to really help me.
The most
But I don't.
altruistic without getting
Yeah.
money involved. Everybody can
I
kind of
called
chip
him
in.
and tried to get him to get us on there. And he said, you know, his son would help me. And you know, so that was part of the challenges that we.
Well, you know what? The next time, next year.
Well, I'll call you for re-election for sure. I think we're gonna win. I ain't gonna lie.
What you have to do.
I mean, who we running against? Willie Burton. That's who we running against.
The
Willie Burton.
Detroit Police Commission.
Yeah.
Get that slot.
No.
It's open.
I know, but no. I'm saying Willie Burton is running for it's like seven or 8 people.
So that's why District 5.
No, I hear you. I'm
All
running
the
for city
back, all the
council.
byproducts.
Next year.
We're going.
Oh, my bad. Watch this. Miss
What is
Martin.
Barlow running for?
People,
No. What is
ask,
Barlow?
people ask me to get in the race. This election, they ain't calling him. Asking me to get in the race. I was like, no.
Now Joey Roller.
I'll come back at night.
I gotta be able to eat.
Home if I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Yeah,
Enough
And
said.
see,
You
that's a
can't step in that
full
sit
time.
down.
If you're gonna commit, that's a full time job. I can't do that and hustle on the side. I just can't.
So how's Kendall gonna do that with 8 churches? How Kendall
I
gonna
know
do that
exactly
with
what
8
you're talking
bodies?
about across from the
Well, you know,
Detroit
I
Blues
go to
Food Club,
Triumph,
right?
but
All around there. You
For him, it's 50-50 actually.
You ain't gotta say nothing else.
okay, I'm glad I'm not.
You ain't got. I'm already here.
You think it's 50-50? I don't think it's 50.
You think it's?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
For whatever I'm going to say.
I'm gonna show you something I learned.
But but like I said in District 5, here's the thing. I'm the youngest person in the race. I was a little disappointed this morning when I saw Chantel. Because everybody's talking about they want the city to change. And after you get out of the race, you should be trying to figure out how to pull your resources together and help the people that are still in there. I didn't get that from her. And so that's where you get a lot of who? No, I'm talking about
I know you
District 5. 'Cause I was at Sheffield's this morning. I did Sheffield this morning as well.
11 o'clock at night.
Well, hey, I'm trying to hit them all. Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, you run the
Yeah.
And listen, when you're running, it's
How old are the
between
people?
you and your
They say.
Yeah.
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 On that side.
I do think that as far as the candidates are concerned,
It's more than likely gonna happen.
You know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually don't. I was with some friends. I was still with it.
the hymn is not
I was just about to move.
I just, I like them all already. I don't have nothing against
I
nobody.
do too. I'm not gonna say I like them all because some of them I didn't even bother to try to get to know. The write-in lady for mayoral, I didn't bother Mr. He's a very impressive
And so I wrote
older guy, but I will say the optics are just bad. You can't introduce
Did you
yourself without a piece of paper.
Oh, yeah.
You can't talk about you know the life you
Yeah, you gotta read it.
everybody
Yeah.
else.
I appreciate you.
And so for me,
come
I'm
off
like
of
you
that.
are straight up.
I appreciate
I
it.
said, well,
I couldn't
come
live
on,
with
say-
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
"You have a call."
It's funny.
Because
And they
to
go,
me
well,
it
can
speaks.
you get a
Who did you think won the debate?
What debate? It was no debate.
Can I say
What
something? Can I
debate? You
interrupt real
talking
quick?
about which one?
No.
I didn't even watch it.
This is what. This is how we gonna solve the problem. You don't have to wait for their time. Ms. Moss know the law.
It was good. It was good.
They said that Mary showed up.
Oh, Mary, she, man.
They said she showed up.
She easily.
Where? The Mackinac?
No, we're not talking about emotions. We're not talking about. We're talking about political school
Okay.
debate.
Okay. Watch this.
Just somebody tell us something. I'm talking about a
Who won
political
this? Who won the whole debate?
What are you judging on?
He said Mary.
Why? What are you judging on? Why am I judging on the person that was most polished with their responses, most genuine? Oh, no.
She's the most.
No, you didn't watch the
Chantel got her yo-yo.
Okay, that's what you said.
No. Who saw the debate? No. Who
saw it?
I didn't
Yes.
watch it, but I will
What you
watch
mean?
it this week.
No, Mary was. When are you going on my podcast? I would love for you to come on. We gotta come on.
Hey, Willie, come on. You can't talk fast enough.
Well, I ain't trying to.
You don't know you're not a geopolitical economist.
You know the thing of it is.
But the thing is, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. When you look at what I just said with me, I'm saying that whenever it doesn't matter what you're saying in a debate. I'm saying when you get a polemic, you know what polemic is? When you get a question, you gotta be able to, in a matter of moments, and you're
I agree with you, but here's the problem. Detroit is not watching the macroeconomic.
At all.
They don't care. That's a policy conference. The table has already been set. The policies have already been decided about what's going to happen in this district.
You ain't
So
lying
we
about
were
that.
doing a show for them, not for us as
that's true.
voters.
That's
So
true. I like
for
what you
me,
said.
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
I'm not impressed by you dancing
No,
for
for
the
the
master.
and that's the element
And
too.
so,
Now, get this.
if you want to talk about
Wait a
the
minute.
right,
She didn't want to go back to your wife. She just grabbed her. I got her.
You got it? Wait, I gotta turn this around.
I still got it.
He's got the little one. He's got Riel. She says she's happy to see him.
I want you on the next show. I want you to bring it up because
I want to. I want to.
I said it last night.
That's why I'm coming down here.
The voters don't give a damn what who said what and
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah.
They're not even looking.
No, I agree.
They have not
I
even
agree.
watched it.
I agree. But for those who saw, and again, I'm more of a
Guess what? That's the ones and twos. How many of them was the
unbiased, brother.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Yeah.
unbiased.
The
Well,
senior citizens? They know.
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. But I'm just saying, we just.
People watch it.
I'm looking at it from a sports perspective.
Each person's.
Can I say it that way? Can I say it like that?
Well,
Yeah.
said she wanted to debate. Is she going to win the race? Is the point.
Well, that's another thing. See, that's a whole different discussion.
So for me,
Yeah.
that's a non-discussion.
Yeah.
She got a lot of hatred in the
Well,
city.
yeah, they love her and hate her,
And then
but
when they start talking all that personal stuff, see, people
yeah.
That's how you solve the issue that we going through.
I'm with you, and I agree with. No, I agree. You're talking about. You're talking about. We're talking about recalling. I'm familiar with the process.
But we are the city now.
Oh yeah, well that's got to be your candidate's message. She ain't saying nothing about it. You got to put it on. You got to put it on this radar. But what I'm saying is, I'd love to come back and discuss it. That's kind of what I want to do a little bit today, is and discuss that.
You gonna put that on one person?
No. I'm saying.
Speedy Gonzalez, I told you you can't talk fast to me.
Oh, it ain't about that.
That
man.
I would debate him.
It ain't about that.
You would debate me, I would crush you.
No, it ain't. That's what I'm saying. We ain't debating. It ain't.
No.
It's
Now, Ms.
real
Moss,
life.
I
you know
agree.
what
I agree with what she said. None of the candidates showed up to Mackinac.
Well, yeah.
I
Well,
know that.
somebody got to. Well, yeah. I'm with you.
If you're not gonna have all of us here, don't wait to come.
They left there, believe me. Every last one of them left there with some money.
Oh, you already know that.
Yeah. Hell, I should have went.
That's
Oh,
the
you already
purpose
know that.
of going to
That's like going to
But
a
listen,
mafia wedding. Everybody pass out.
Yeah. I mean, I get it as far as who watched it.
said
You know what I'm
last
saying,
night
Jim?
that,
Somebody know. And a Jim. And a small board.
Kim Hawk showed up like nobody's. See, here's the
He did really good, actually.
You know what?
He did really. I say he came in third.
Look at Detroit black and white.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at how many views each person got,
I got respect for her because
That tells it.
We're talking about
she know her is.
Yeah.
We had over
sat and watched her this morning.
1.9,000.
They're not gonna apologize.
I don't know how much it is now. That was a week ago.
Bringing back
Some
the
deals.
10-sector contracts and the private contracts. But why they
You see, that's why I keep coming by here. I'm trying to get elected.
And that's very
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
And
The media is the way.
to Grayling.
That's good.
Grayling is not.
Yeah, and I get, and you gotta have that too, quite frankly. But you know what? And I know, I see right through them. But the thing of it is I'm this, and I mean this from my heart. I'm the type of legislator that knows that all perspectives are important. I know that. And without him, we really can't do this, because if you're not too careful, you got a table of people agreeing with each other about everything, and that ain't no fun either. So I respect him, but I know he's dead wrong. I can respect you though, and still know you're crazy as two damn left shoes. That's what his ass is. And I call it spade a spade. But you don't worry about no damn gas stations. You need to be trying to fix our homes and our schools. Listen, I watched the show. You ain't got to tell me.
Democrats, to me,
I watched. I'm not listening. I'm running for city. I watched Detroit Black and White. You hear me? I understand the narrative and what everybody's perspective. I can't even know. I don't know.
how did you find out?
I don't know. I've been watching y'all a while now though, and I probably was watching before I decided to run. But I decided to run, hell, at the end of last year. rather recently. But yeah, no. So I know what everybody's angle is, and pretty much, and again, that's why I say it's all necessary. It really, really is. But we get his tight. We get his tight. Focus on this and not the structural issue.
They talk about the Detroit, but let's be real. The Detroit, they may live here, but they don't vote here. They vote out the door where they own.
Oh yeah.
So you're trying to appease people.
Yeah. I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
Have an investment, because if you invest it, you will be a registered voter.
I say it this way. Let's level set and ask this question: how old are your kids, and what schools do they go to? Let's start there. How you feel about DTE raising up? We need more than one light company in the city.
But do you know the reason why they raising it?
Why?
To pay their shareholders.
Hey man. Well, let's press the issue. I feel like we need another power company in. Oh well, yeah.
I know how to pray for the community. See, he think I'm playing.
I don't think you playing.
Listen, you use them.
I'm with you.
We the number 4 worst state in the
You
country.
wanna come get on my stream? I'm still streaming. I'm gonna put the camera on you.
Look, we are the number 4 worst nation in the country. And recycle. Look, you take the organic.
Man. No, I'm at 8 hours right now. We just wrapping up. What you got? Yeah, you know, hey, listen, I'm in the same boat as you, dropping our papers, brother. So I'm in the same boat. Yesterday you forgot something, it wasn't intentional. So I'm just moving just like you are. God bless you. But I'm at 8 hours right now. I'm finna wrap up right now. The charger to my head, down my heart. As soon as I get out here and get the car, I'll kick it in.
Don't come out to that.
You gotta come up. No, you're not like that, man. If you come up here, you'll get an interview. Trust me. All right. Well, it's time on the clock. It's over from 10 to 11. We gotta hurry up. Let me get out here. Let me finish politicking. I'll call you back. All right.
That's what put down the cars and the home. So we get this. You just talking about using it as
I'm gonna sit right here for 2 seconds.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, don't put this on.
Oh, okay. Oh. Hey, you guys, we're doing the after show of the Adolph Mungo. Listen, let me introduce you to the man behind the scenes today.
Way behind the scenes.
Hey, man.
Way behind the scenes.
Hey, we enjoy coming out and watching Detroit. I know, right? We enjoy watching Detroit Black and White. We watch it on Wednesday, on Friday, and on Saturday mornings we have an opportunity to come out. It's a lot of fun for me because it's a family-friendly environment. As you can see, Rev is back there. I don't know if you can see him. And it's also a great opportunity. His finger's stuck. Careful. I got a toddler, so he just got his finger stuck in there. Come say hi. This is my little one, Rev. Say hey, Rev. Say hello.
Hello.
Say how's everybody doing?
How about everybody doing?
Say vote for my dad.
Vote for my dad.
Good. Be careful and watch your fingers. But all right, we are behind the scenes. They are wrapping up. How did you think today's show went?
Today's show was great. I thought it was an excellent show.
Man, I love it. No, it was great today. I enjoyed it. I missed it. Did you guys get a chance to press old buddy on his those sexual harassment allegations? Did he get to him? Did he? Oh, you switched? No. I heard when you switched it and talked about what the sheriff department does.
It wasn't all that interesting. He wasn't all that
He
interesting.
what? Listen, man.
That was great.
Listen, man. And my thing is, and that's why. But see, here's the thing. You gotta have somebody.
You don't know that much about police.
Who? Oh, who is that?
The sheriff.
Oh well, he's a politician. He's a politician. And here's the thing. No, not at all.
He's got out of it every other time.
Oh, it's the trend.
Oh,